Number 8. Monster Hunter Tri was my very first entry into the Monster Hunter series. I was made aware of the game thanks to the hype provided by the official Nintendo magazine. They seemed pretty happy that the game had been stolen from PS3 and headed to Wii, and while I was at college, I was further exposed to the game through my friend who played Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on his PSP. He was always enthusiastic about using dual blades and the fact that your helpers are all cats. And when the game had finally released, it was during a period in my life when I was on my own. It was just myself and my Nintendo Wii with no internet. I can't tell you how many times I watched this intro cutscene, but I always loved the way it all plays out in time with the music. Reminds me of the opening of Disney's Dinosaur. After creating my character, I was introduced to the peaceful and tranquil Moga village, a village upon the sea on the coast of the deserted isle. The villagers are all going about their day-to-day lives until an earthquake trembles and spooks the villagers. They gather around the village chief and in walks your hunter. I love this intro, perfectly and without dialogue giving you a taste of your setting and eventual objectives. I am a monster hunter, and I must protect this village from whatever is causing these quakes. The game takes you on a tutorial for an hour or two, allowing you to come to grips with mechanics such as gathering, carving, cooking meat, swimming, and combat. Once you have completed these introductory missions, you are free to explore and progress through the quest ranks at your own pace. And you'll need to take it easy when going into any Monster Hunter game for the first time. There are many deep in-game systems and mechanics to help you become a more efficient hunter, and you'll slowly discover them all one by one. I could waffle on about how I didn't really understand the game at first, and list the many things that I didn't realise existed, but if you've seen any other Monster Hunter video, you've probably already heard it all before, and I would like to keep this video as short as possible. I'll cut a long story short and say it took me over the course of 2 years to get to the point where I fully understood the game, and I'll never forget the days of just free hunting in the Moga woods to gather and hunt till my heart's content. This game is pretty immersive and alive. The monsters, big and small, all move in their own ways and can be recognised with enough observation. Yet their dynamic AI means that no two encounters will ever be the same, adding an enjoyable layer of unpredictability. And the combat. It took ages for it to click with me, because for the longest time I just used a sword and shield, but one day I decided on a whim to try out this electric long sword I was given by the village argosy trader near the end of the village quest, and once I found my combo, it became like a dance. Spending so much time getting to know this amazing cast of creatures paid off when I finally found the satisfaction of timing my swings with the moves of the monster, knowing when I'm safe to hit and where my attacks can reposition me. And the lack of traditional gamey elements like numbers and health bars meant I really had to pay attention to the monsters themselves. Over the course of hunts, I was in a loop of offense, defense and chase, using the tools that I have prepared to help me get the edge. I became such an efficient hunter that I felt like I was truly in tune with nature whenever I played, and a lot of the fun of Monster Hunter, for me, is the discovery. Takes me back to my childhood discovering things about Pokemon for the first time. And I suppose not having the internet only enhanced my experience further. I think for the future I would like to go into any new game I play as blind as possible. Another element that adds to the immersion, at least for me, is the fact that you could follow some monsters underwater. And after playing other games in the series, I still wish that I could follow aquatic monsters in their own turf. I know it was clunky. There's no doubt it could be improved. I hated being in the murky and weedy waters of the flooded forest too, but I think that's the point. We're out of our element, we're in their turf now, and I love how aquatic monsters change their movesets underwater. You see, I am under the impression that the larger Monster Hunter community doesn't really like the underwater combat, and I feel like a small minority who liked it. It was removed in the following game, Monster Hunter 4, which is still a solid game with a cast of monsters and a level of verticality that made it memorable in its own right. But then Generations decided to bring back some of my favourite Leviathans to be fought exclusively on land, which stripped them of their original appeal. And since Monster Hunter Generations, we have been seeing more and more action-y and anime-looking gimmicks and movement options that I think the series is starting to lose some of what originally drew me in. I miss the days where the movement was more grounded and weighty. It helps with my immersion. Which brings me back to swimming. I miss it. Having the freedom to explore these vast underwater areas complete with immersive visual and audio effects, and unique creatures to study too. Even when you were alone in the water, the atmosphere felt serene and peaceful. Nothing has come close since. Well, Monster Hunter World came close. That is one immersive and impressive game. I would probably say it's my second favourite Monster Hunter. However, it started to introduce some quality of life features that I feel are also stripping Monster Hunter of its identity. Because I also miss the preparation for the hunt itself. I spent lots of time in the older games gathering resources and free hunting in each game's respective unlimited hunting area. It was pretty much mandatory that you do so, otherwise you'd be missing out on useful items for your hunts. Nowadays, Monster Hunter games like to hand everything you'll ever need in bulk, and you'll never have to actually think about it again. You used to have to commit to a hunt with everything you were going to take and survive on that, but now you are given a camp so you may completely switch your gear mid-hunt. The most recent entry, Rise, has streamlined everything to such a degree that I feel conflicted about it. I still feel like it's a fantastic game, but this isn't what I enjoy about Monster Hunter. Why bother learning the monster behaviours when I can see them on the map at all times? Why even learn the map at all? And all this Attack on Titan, Spider-Man wirebug flipping and flying about is fun and cool, but it completely removes all challenge. Same goes for Iceborne's Clutch Claw, which became a too reliable method for opening lots and lots of attack opportunities. I miss the days of Monster Hunter feeling like a fair challenge, feeling like a semi-realistic hunting simulator with a hint of charm. I miss when the stories of these games were non-intrusive and didn't take themselves too seriously. Honestly, the Gen 5 games have all made me cringe with their attempts to be epic. I miss the days of Gen 3. Towards the end of my time with Tri, I was living with a new friend, and he had just started to get into the game with his own save file, after being enamoured by my own gameplay. He got his first taste via Tri's unique split-screen mode, which allowed us to tackle these arena quests together co-op, and the rewards would get sent to your character save, which would be stored on your Wii remote. I had a lot of fun doing so. We even considered getting a second copy of the game so we could enter high rank together and experience the online co-op for the first time. After all, I had both a Wii U and my original Wii still. Alas, by the time I finally had internet and we were ready to join high rank, the online servers were going offline. Oh well, I still had plenty of fun doing co-op in split screen mode, which is why Monster Hunter Tri isn't my 8th favourite game of all time, because as much time as I spent with my very first Monster Hunter, Tri felt like a demo compared to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Released in March 2013 for both the Wii U and 3DS, is the reason why the Wii game servers went offline. Good move, Capcom. Awful decision or not, it had me buy both the Wii U version for my housemate to play on, and the 3DS version, so I could play co-op with him cross-platform. And you know, playing on 3DS with the 3D on only made the game more immersive and massively helped with the underwater depth perception. With more monsters, more areas, more weapons, another charming assistant and another rank of difficulty in G rank. Technically too, since I never got to experience the original game's high rank, which was locked behind the online, and I got to experience most of it with my new friend, my first hunting buddy. And since we used different weapons and had different yet complementary playstyles, we were constantly making and sharing new discoveries with each other, looking out for each other's health, developing a sense of comradeship, realising that positioning was doubly important as your hits would affect your teammates. It was so funny every time he sent me flying with his greatsword, and doubly funny that when Mountain was added in 4, I could shout, "Lodge me!" and I could now attack while mid-air and get a chance to topple any monster we were fighting. I'll never forget the discoveries we made together. I never knew Goebel's tail could come off, since solo I was always going for the lantern on my own. And then one day my friend chopped it off and my mind was blown. Co-op encouraged me to learn other weapons too, like the hunting horn, and our minds were equally blown the first time we broke a Baloth's crown. Or the first time we fought a Deviljaw in the tundra, and he only opened up a never-seen-before area when he was weak. I could go on and on and on and just list every single hardship, triumph, and Monster Hunter memory, but instead of that, I highly recommend you give Monster Hunter a go for yourself. Whether you want a challenging solo experience to grind out and spend lots of time with, or you just want to kill some cool monsters with your friends every now and then. There's no better time to get into Monster Hunter, and I'm happy that the series has finally gained the respect it's always deserved and took off in the West. The Gen 5 games are the most accessible games yet, and I'm thankful that they have gotten my current friend circle into Monster Hunter too. However, with accessibility and success comes a cost. I've already expressed how I feel about the quality of life features and the streamlining introduced in Gen 5, but we're also starting to get incomplete games. You can't fool me, Capcom, disguising the rest of the game as a free content update. It didn't feel so bad with World. Everything that came after the base game genuinely felt like bonus content. But with Iceborne, Rise and Sunbreak, I really did feel the pain of having to wait for content that felt like it was supposed to be in the base game. Monster Hunter should not feel like a live service game. I miss the days where we got complete games on day one, that we could enjoy fully without ever having to wait for more content, and the only post-game content would just be cool rewards and silly quests that you could unlock for free. This is why Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is my 8th favourite game of all time.